The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends. And of course, what do we got going on today? Well, we're going into expiration. A lot of people were primed for Walmart missing its earnings, which they didn't do. So we got a market that is basically flat. Not a lot of volume, 2 billion shares so far. But it looks like the market was kind of ready to head lower. And anytime that happens, Mr. Treasury's over there flooding the Forex markets with U.S. dollars, and that's what we have again today. We're off 50 cents on the dollar index, 94.22. We are at the very end of that range, though, and very much like Japan in that they keep doing this stuff, and all it does is keep everybody from jumping off a cliff. They are still jumping off step stools. But you can't really, we got up here and the market is just taking a giant yawn. Got a little bit of an overbought position or overbought condition in the marketplace. But man, there are a lot of people with big money that are both getting out and getting short and going against the Fed and, of course, the Treasury. Fed really doesn't seem to do much anymore. They can jawbone a lot, but I think it's right now down to the dollar index on almost everything that you're doing. As the dollar went lower, I saw that it seemed like the move for Walmart tended to be a little less. We'll check in on that today. As always, we love to see you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And if you like the program, you can keep your program only if you tell a friend.
And he tells two friends, and she tells two friends, and so on, and
so on, and so on. I need you to tell some friends. Come on. Just a little. It's all free. Just tell a few friends. Anyway, of course, we always like to start off the show with a little bit of history, because if you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it. And, of course, the market is nothing but history repeating itself.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating over and over again. On this day in 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution guaranteeing women the right to vote is ratified by Tennessee, giving it the two-thirds majority of state ratification necessary to make it the law of the land. The amendment was then the culmination of more than 70 years of struggle by women suffragists. Never knew that was even a word, but I looked it up, and it is. But, of course, this led the law of unintended consequences. The first thing that they did was push through prohibition, of course, setting up a huge deal. And if you've ever watched that, the series on PBS about prohibition, you'd think that 3/4 of the men were at the bar every day just being smashed. But it probably wasn't that bad, but it was fairly bad. You can see why women did it. But, of course, on this day, they said, what's next? You're going to let them drive? And so it is. Anyway, on this day, the women suffraged in 1920. It was only 3/5? 2/3? Oh, 3/5. I get it. I know we've got a couple of buffs in the den for movie buffs that think that they like playing movie stocks. that have to do it. Just saw this last night and I thought it was very interesting. The second largest film market in China experienced its first year-over-year decline in more than half a decade. Ticket sales dropping about 18% for the month of July, and forecasting that or worse in August. Many movies now actually come out in China before they come out in the United States because, of course, we have Rotten Tomatoes, and then we find out which of these movies are the giant stinkers and which are not. The only movie that I wanted to go see this whole summer came out last weekend, which was Sausage Party. Not a movie for everyone, but apparently getting fairly high reviews. Almost everything else has been a Debbie Downer. But not looking for anything real strong, at least in movies. The strength and what most people are doing now in Hollywood, if you're a decent actor, not the Leonardo DiCaprio or a handful of others, probably 5 people now can open a movie just by their name. If you're not that 5 people, you are doing exactly what many have done, like that House of Cards. You're getting into a series that pays you every year, and you're doing 4 or 5 other things, and you're doing ads. There just isn't enough money in Hollywood anymore, and even some of those big movies that should open up haven't this year. So it's probably going to get worse. But we see big movie stars now doing car ads and everything else. That was a real no-no for years. It kind of showed that you would sold out your craft. But it may be just something that comes with the general economy pulling back over the world. But a lot of people saying China's ripping and everything's great. And I see the numbers that are down for gambling. I see the numbers that are down in movies. And it's very tough for me to figure out how and why China's doing so good when all the numbers that I continue to see say everything is going south. Cisco, last night before the earnings call, we saw that they were going to cut about 20% from a leak. And, of course, they came out and said we're going to cut about 7%. I had some people ask me what the deal is. Well, this is, I don't know if there's a better way to say it, but this is kind of a new way of getting the word out without actually saying it. Legally, if you're going to cut a bunch of people, you have to actually say so. There is a law. And Cisco basically complying with the law part of it. But I've seen IBM and Microsoft do this in the last few years, and a handful of others that I can't remember. But the first one I remember doing it was IBM. They leaked the document and then said, no, we're not cutting that many people. And guess what? By the end of it, it's exactly how many people that they ended up cutting on that quote leaked thing. My guess is that Cisco and the rest of these guys have figured out what you do is let the truth leak. Then you own up to a part of it. Then you own up to the second 2/3 of it. And then the last third. And I think that's kind of what's going on here with Cisco. I think that they're going to cut 20% of their jobs in the next year and a half. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
After the bell tonight, we have AMAT, GPS, which is the Gap stores, and the Ross stores. And that pretty much is it. We got John Deere in the morning. And we're pretty much done with earnings, this earnings seasons now. We've got probably pretty much all the way through September before anything really starts coming back around at us. So I don't know what else you can say other than that. We are now in kind of a rudderless, windless doldrums of no earnings and no real catalyst to really push this market higher, other than the fact there's a lot of people standing around with money and they're willing to risk $100 to make a dime. At least it looks like it. My call is that we should have failed by now. We have not. So probably we're going to go sideways here for a few days, maybe into Wednesday of next week. The volume will probably get even lighter as we go into the end of summer. I just don't see a great deal going on here. And the question is, at what point do we hit about 93.80, 93.60 on the dollar index? Because at that point, we have seen the rest of the world start pushing back on the Treasury, that is kind of the accepted norm, somewhere between that 93.60 area to about $98. Everybody else is happy with. So will we have competitive devaluation? Will we have currency wars here popping up soon? Kind of hard to say. Crude was up higher today, partially because, of course, the lower dollar, partially because the Ukraine is the first news article I saw said they were talking about it, and the next one said that they were going to do it, which is they're going to start the draft. Russia has been massing tanks on its border for the last 3 or 4 days. So it looks like it's time for them to start probably yet another war, knowing that in the last 3 or 4 months or 5 months of his presidency, the president is not going to do anything different than he's done his previous 7.5 years. So I think Putin probably thinks he's got the green light. I would not be surprised to see some action in there in the very near future. Exactly when is tough to know. Full moon tonight, so normally they don't do anything, but I would start watching all these mid-month no full moon nights and be a little wary about whether or not the stocks or commodities you have are affected by that, but would not be surprised to see them go in there. Like I said, they've been massing troops and armament all week long in on the border with the Ukraine. What else is going on? It is a mad, 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 mad world. We will continue on. Let's take a look at some stocks. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. Well, if we're massing a bunch of people there, I'd like to know how many, because we've moved a ton of people out. So if we're massing anybody, it's whatever we've got left over there. They've been taking NATO troop levels down every year for the last 7. So, yeah, I don't know. Fog of war, NATO, tough to know. But I don't think we're going to get involved. But unfortunately, you don't want to let the little fire grow into a big one like we did in World War II. To stand back and say, hey, we'll have none of it. We'll be on the moral high ground. And then, of course, 70 million people dead later. You try to take care of those problems when they're small problems, unless you're on the moral high ground, in which case, 70 million people, it's not a bad thing to be, right? Anyway, just don't get me started. Donaldson, DCI. Been watching this one. Very light volume out here today. Just about what we've been talking about and when we're looking at some of these stocks. It doesn't seem to be a great deal to write home about. I wouldn't be picking a fight here. Like I said, options expiration is tomorrow. Rollovers on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday would be the next day that I think you would see this market start to roll back over. What else can you say? Oh, anyway, I got some comments and emails coming in. Okay, what do we have going? Oh, what else do I want to look at? CSIQ. This has been one of the stronger solar stocks out here. It had broken to... and with nice volume lower yesterday. Maybe people just a little too short on this one, up on 10.5 million shares so far today. I've always liked this one of the horrible solar stocks. Canadian Solar is probably the least that makes me think of fraud. They actually, for Canadians who don't have a great deal of sun, seem to have done a pretty good job of making a solar company. I'm kind of partial to this one because back in the March 2009 lows, this thing was testing $2. On the first time, it had like 2 million shares. And on the second time, on that March 5th low of 2009, or was it March 9th? Forgetting now. This thing was testing it with 1/10 of volume. It was one of the stocks that I bought and made a huge amount of money off that low, off those long-term lows. So I'm a little partial to it because I made a boatload of money on it. But it is, I don't know if you can say that much about it other than the fact that maybe everybody was just a little bit too short. Cisco, we talked about that. According to them, if you... I read the transcript of their earnings call. What they're doing, if you remember, I loved a company called VMware. Unfortunately, it was owned to a bigger percent by EMC, and VMware basically being treated rather horribly by the company that owned a lot of shares, and they'd been dumping them. VMware basically had come down. They said it was for sale, basically almost any price. They wanted to get the cash out of it before Dell. I don't know how long this buyout's going to take between EMC and Dell, but horrifically long. But the reason I loved the VMware was, of course, they were making these virtual routers that could be totally configured through software. And Cisco basically last night is saying the same thing, that they're going the route of VMware, in that everything they're going to be building in the new future is all going to be software controlled. We'll talk more about there. There's a thing called software-defined radio, and that maybe is a good model for what Cisco is doing in the future. We'll talk about that when we return.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
S&P's up $1.90 at 2184. We've got 2.18 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape, and that is even lighter than yesterday. So it certainly looks like we're getting into that super light volume. We look at the calendar, man, you're kind of getting at the very end of it. Many places everybody's gone back to school already. But I think everybody's looking for that last big weekend in the Hamptons to signal that everybody's coming back from the market. The election continues to be statistically within the margin of error. So there's not a lot to be drawn from that. Decisions made, let me put it that way. So it is going to be, I think we're going to be quiet here for a little while until we get some kind of news going on. On the downside, of course, what troubles me the most about these markets right now is Japan's inability to really get anything going, even though they keep throwing things against the wall and hoping something will stick. The last 2 or 3 attempts haven't done really a whole lot. And I suspect that's kind of the same thing here in the United States, that the only thing that seems to get this market going when it looks weak is the Treasury throwing more cash and moving the dollar down. That seems to be the only control rod in the nuclear reactor that is our economy. Anyway, I was talking about software-defined radio. Radios forever tended to be made to work in very special bands, AM, FM. But if you had communications equipment, they tended to be set to a very specific frequency. It didn't work very well outside those frequencies. There's something it's kind of a movement along with hams, that kind of stuff, called software-defined radio. And it's been around for kind of a long time. But you can actually program the parts in these radios to work at a lot of different frequencies, where typical radio would only work in specific frequencies. That's kind of what they did with routers, internet routers, is start making these things very definable by software. And we talked about VMware kind of being in the lead in that, and I liked that part in that company that was really driving it. Their downside was they had 2 bozos running the driving the bus, Michael Dell and whoever's running EMC, and it's all kind of a piggy bank for those 2 companies to do some financial engineering and make their companies look big. Dell just wanted to take his company off the block for a year or 2, fatten it up, and be able to sell the whole thing and get his cash out of it. The EMC people have long-term problems just with their business model. But I think Cisco has figured out that making the definitive black box that only does what it did when it was manufactured is probably not the wave of the future. And they basically said everything for us, or most everything from now on, is all going to be about software defining the boxes that we've already designed. So apparently, although they didn't talk about it, the new product coming out for them is all going to be software-defined routers, mostly for these big cloud systems, so someone doesn't have to go down there and take one wire, unplug it from one port, plug it into another. They're just going to talk to these things via cables and tell them that, hey, suddenly this port is that port. And everything is going to be up and running with a minimal of people actually wandering around trying to figure why this cable isn't hooked to that cable. And so kind of software-defined routers is what I'm kind of thinking of it and thinking it about. But let's take a quick look at VMware. See what it's doing here lately. This thing's just been going sideways. I mean, they gapped up. Let's look at the headlines out here. See if there's anything new with this bunch. VMware, 3 storages, You know, I kind of went back. I wanted to make sure about it, but yeah, this thing is now arbitraged out with the buyout with EMC, and that's why this thing is just kind of going sideways for us. A little bit up today, but I don't expect a great deal out here that is going to change or be able to make a great deal of money off on this thing anymore. But that's kind of what they're going after. I'm always wondered whether or not Cisco would just buy VMware and get rid of a competitor, but I haven't heard anything more about that lately. If you have a question, you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. You can call me at 877-927-6648 or post a message in the den. What else do we have out here? A few other stocks. Weight Watchers, we've been watching this one the last couple of days. I think it's going to come back in and have one more test. This still looks to me like it's set up for maybe buying it in late September or October. This one was the one that Oprah, of course, got involved with and ran at $28. It was about 40% short. A lot of people thought this thing was going out of business before she got involved. Basically ran and fed everybody buckwheats, which is a slow, painful beating, if you're unfamiliar with that term. But anyway, old buckwheats got this thing up to $28 just because it was massively short. Most people thought it was going out of business at about $6. Now the thing's come back. Will it get all the way back to $6? I don't think so. I think they've kept this thing above at $10, but it may take a little bit longer to base out at this level. But I'm looking at this thing maybe September or October for, of course, everybody feeling fat and lethargic on their couch on January 1st and deciding that they need to get back in to this stuff. WPX was looking at this energy company and wondering what crude was going to do today. Kind of above $45, I was kind of imagining that would be the top in crude. I didn't have any position on it really to speak of. I still suspect that we are way higher than anything that supply and demand in crude would give. My call on crude right now is that everybody just continues to short it, and therefore it goes higher. But this is certainly crude, and of course the whole energy sector out here. Every time the price goes up a few more bucks, you got a ton more wells that are back into production up in the Northwest, and I think that's you're always gonna see this kind of boom bust cycle go on for all those wells that are ready to go as soon as the dollars start flooding in. And of course, if you're here in the Northwest creating energy, it doesn't really change a great deal of what you're doing when they change the dollar, right? You're still paying for everything in dollars and getting everything out in dollars. But that's it. Well, we're going to go to the break. Make sure and email me something at path@tfnn.com if you have a question, or post something in the den. Did I talk about Intap? I did not. We'll get to that too.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
And we're up a gnat's hair on the, that's a technical term, by the way, gnats, the little tiny bugs that fly around. A gnat's hair up $1.75 on the S&P 500 at 2183.70, 2183.79. 2.25 billion shares. So we're going to come in next another 200 million short of even yesterday's light volume. I don't know if that matters now for the next few days because you have options rollover. That tends to be a market that they push around. Fairly hard to get option positions in for September and October and set those up. Everything still says that we probably should be lower for expiration tomorrow, but doesn't seem to matter this month. Network appliances, a net app in TAP. I had a question in the den about this one. This one was massively short and has been for a while. I think everybody knows that this company has some real challenges and may go out of the business within a few years. Intel is going to come along and club them like a baby seal, beat them like a rented mule, and treat them like a redheaded stepped child soon enough. It's real unclear whether NetApp can go up against the juggernaut that is Intel and Micron and a handful of others, AMD, in the near future. But basically what they're doing is putting together a lot of non-volatile RAM for cloud-based systems so that everybody is just think about it as a big SSD. Unfortunately, that is going to kind of go away with some of the new stuff coming out. And everybody's just kind of gotten on the bandwagon of getting short this thing way before the technology that's going to come and put them out is actually hit the market. There's never this kind of off-on switch for that. These guys are probably going to still be around for a couple of years after the new stuff comes out. But they're going to have to come up with something new. In 2 years, they're probably bankrupt. I'm going to say 2 years after this Christmas without changing a great deal. But that doesn't mean now is the time to short them. It's when that product actually starts hurting their income. They will say that it won't hurt them. All the holders of this thing will try to distribute as much as they can into that. But it's kind of interesting to know that you're going to die, but the doctor gives you 5 years. And I think that's kind of what's happening here. They got the prognosis. They know what's going to happen, but it's not going to be tomorrow. They'll still be able to go to work and make money. And the thing you need to watch on this one is when everybody quits shorting it, that probably tells you that that is the time to actually get short this thing for the long slide down. I'd watched Western Digital and also Seagate slowly roll back over at high levels last year, and I knew everybody knew that was going to happen about 2 years early, but they ran it back up. Well, on Western Digital's case, ran it up and distributed it as much at the highs as they could, when everybody, I think, in the industry knew what was going to happen. But Wall Street's pretty good about changing the story, changing the narrative, telling everybody to look over here, why they're doing something over there. The magician's secret, which is misdirection. You'll probably see the same thing in this, but I think you're just going to hear more and more stories about it. Their earnings won't instantly fall off a cliff. Everything will still move along. They'll find ways to make more money. They may even incorporate some of Intel's new memory products into what they're doing, and it won't matter. But one day they'll have a high, and that will be it. And then the stock will just continue down and down and down. Let's take a look at the Western Digital, since I haven't in a couple of days. Everybody's been pushing everything. This on earnings did get back up to $54.56 on Western Digital. Came back down, kind of in this trading range. I got to sneeze. And I'm back now. I just 4 sneezes. And I'm going to have to clean this microphone off. I didn't turn far enough away. Anyway, question that in. So is this just a short squeeze? Well, in the short term, yes. Long term, like I said, it's going to be a little longer for network appliance and all their stuff. But I just don't know how they're going to have to get into yet another product that's unclear and unannounced at this time. But their line and what they did was very necessary for everybody moving to the cloud. It's just not going to be necessary in the next few years. So you just have to watch how quick Intel gets out its new X-Point technology and into those server fields, which is the ripest part of that business. And then, of course, it'll get into the consumer products too. But their big deal is to get into that, get into the high-end server business and take a little bit of business away from NVIDIA. Which reminds me, NVIDIA and Intel, they're talking smack at each other. NVIDIA very upset about what Intel's saying about the speed of some of the stuff that NVIDIA makes, saying that Intel rigged the software so it would make them look better, or tailored it to make them look better. Unclear what the true story is. I just probably wouldn't be begging a big player like Intel to come around and swat me. So we'll watch how that comes out. But kind of interesting to see that war of words of the last couple of days. This thing is still, of course, on its upswing. I don't see anything down here that says it broke it, but it has pulled down and pulled back pretty much to the uptrend line on light volume. So could this back up 63.50? I think it can. Is this nearing about as good as it gets for NVIDIA? They have the same problem that Network Appliance has, and that is that right now they're the only game in town. Intel is really working to go after a big hunk of NVIDIA's business in the near future. Do they still have 6 months before that even starts? Yes. So you have to kind of look at that. The market tends to project in stocks earnings that are 6 months to 9 months out. So if Intel does come and get stuff out by the first of the year, and it starts hurting NVIDIA, you kind of have to, figure out when that is going to be. My guess is it really wouldn't start hitting NVIDIA until springtime next year, so maybe late fall. If you see NVIDIA really starting to act weak, that may be a sign that old Mr. Intel is coming to visit. Uncle Intel. Anyway, a lot of big wars coming back that we haven't seen since the late 90s in technology, so it's going to be interesting. We'll be back after this short timeout.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Okay, probably the most important thing is the dollar index is off 55 cents at 94.17. And that seems to be kind of propping up this market. Now, I did have a question come in via email. And, of course, you know all how much I love email.
I got mail. Yay! I got mail. Yay!
And you can always email me at path@tfnn.com. The IBB, is this a double repo pattern? And the answer is yes. And you got the confirmation a couple of days ago. I don't like going short these patterns during expiration week unless I have a huge edge, and I didn't see anything in that. Now you got Monday and Tuesday. We'll see what happens out here. If I was to pull the trigger on this, though, I would wait until Wednesday. But it's everything you want in a double repo out here. You get your anywhere from 10 to 15 days above the 9-day or 3x3 displaced moving average. You get a couple of days underneath it. You get a day or two above it. It closes right back below it. And you pretty much got it. Let's look at the displaced moving average. Kind of the exact same thing out here, although it's a little bit more vibrant on this one. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you're looking for out here. This thing had been moving higher since the end of May. And, was it end of May? What is that? End of June, excuse me. Pretty much came back above it. And, you know, this is the kind of pattern that gets extremely dangerous. But I'm going to give you a codicil here. Just with the light volume going into the end of September, can you continue to see some of these kind of just eke out a nickel or a dime higher? The answer is yes. But again, it's not, probably not going to get a lot of announcements for the next 7 to 10 days out here. So there are not a lot of catalysts that are going to make this thing go higher. Probably not a lot of catalysts that are going to make it go lower. The government folks are all on vacation. You don't get a great deal of results from studies in this last week of August. A lot of people on vacation, and that tends to make things fairly quiet. But keep a very close eye on this. This is one of the most bearish patterns that you can get as long as it stays below either the 3x3 displaced moving average or the 9-day moving average. Either one of these would be very tough. And of course, you're going to probably come back down to this area where this thing took off, which is $240.30, where this thing leaves. And I don't think you do much other than that. We had Agilent come out, and I don't think you can say much about this one either, other than a lot of these stocks are absolutely priced for perfection now in the IBB, and this one's more biotech than just about anything. AG, T's, and C's for Agilent. I don't know what else you can say. Good sign out here that this thing broke. But $42, probably where this thing's coming back. Again, not the end of the world if the IBDB just comes back and tests the previous low out here. But I don't see a lot that really scares me to the upside in the IBB. I just don't see, maybe at least the next few days being the day to pull the trigger on it. Would have liked to seen this thing bust the 289 today. Got close, going to close back above it. So just keep an eye on it next couple of days, but I think we're getting close. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.